How you doing, y'all? Welcome to Confidence. I got some prompts for you guys that we're going to talk about, but today we're just going to riff and vibe and enjoy. Something I was thinking about today, I was like, all right, because back in the day, like my editor, she like got mad at me because I like didn't have enough drama in my life. So I was like thinking about that before this podcast. I was like, oh man, like what kind of drama can I bring on to the show today? And my problem is thinking about the drama that I don't have in my life. That's the issue. The fact that she has to ask me to find drama in my life is low-key kind of crazy. And then I was like, damn, that's pretty cool, Chris. Like, you got a life that is just really no drama. There really is no, it's so weird, like, getting to this place in my life where, I don't know, there's like not really a lot of negativity. I've worked on my mindset so heavily, I think like throughout my entire life. Honestly, the last like 5-6 years, I've gone crazy, coaching, therapy, books. I still read every night. And there does hit a point in time, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, where like you put enough work into yourself and you understand yourself, your triggers, these things about yourself, you realize that your entire reality is created in your mind. Right? All the drama, quote unquote, to be honest, none of it's real. And this is what's crazy is like every struggle that I had in my life was self-inflicted. And that's what I needed to realize. And I think that's something that's important too, is like, that's what it is. That's the truth. It's like any sort of struggle or drama you have in your life, you are signing up for it. Drama is not happening to you. I mean, it could. I guess there's things that could happen in the environment. But like, how do you handle those things? That's really the question, right? I'm a big believer that if you threw my ass in jail, honestly, like let's say I did something, this is going to sound really fucking strange. So I was sitting here and I had like some Instagram video that was going off and there was like some negative comments to it. One of the comments, like there's a guy who left a comment and he was like, "This pisses me off so much. Like if I saw this guy in person, I'd punch him in the face." I was like, oh, okay. Jesus Christ. And honestly, whenever I see that, right, the fact that somebody can get that triggered off of an Instagram video is wild to me. And do you see what I'm saying about causing your own drama? That person doesn't have the self-awareness enough to understand that he is watching something on the internet that is triggering a fearful belief that he has about himself, and he's extremely hurt and sad. And instead of understanding that about himself, it's reacted in anger, because anger is over the top. And I told you guys, right? What's underneath anger? Underneath anger is hurt. So there's something that's triggering some sort of hurt, which is triggering this anger. Now, I don't need to break it down for him, but I was thinking to myself, I was like, imagine if I'm just like out at the bar one day and I'm just like hanging out, just like doing my thing. And like the next thing you know, like I had this, like, I swear to God, I was sitting in this chair right before this podcast and I was thinking about this. I was like, what if like somebody like that, like came up to me and like threw a drink on me? Like, then what? I feel like they would have to get like physically violent with me for me to get physically violent back. But I swear to God, I had this like imagined thought and visualization of like, I'm like a very calm person, I'm a very collected person. But maybe somebody would actually try to attack me one day. And I was like, that would be a very interesting scenario. Like, what if somebody actually tried to attack me in person? And then I was like, okay, what if I punched him in the face so hard that he died? Yo, I swear to God, I had this thought. And then I was like, I wasn't trying to kill him, but I just hit him so hard that he died. And then, I went to jail. And I was like, I was in jail because I just murdered somebody. And especially like over like, let's say if somebody like threw a drink on me, right? Like, I don't think the price to pay for that is me like assaulting you to that degree. But let's just say I was so triggered in that moment and you just kind of caught me slipping one day. I guess it's possible. I'm not that kind of guy, but I guess if it really came down to it. But then I was like, I don't know. I guess I would just be in jail. And it's weird because I kind of have like a smile on my face right now because I'm like, that'd be kind of chill, jail, some meals. It would just be what life is at the moment, right? Like I'd probably meet some new friends, Like, yeah, like I'm sure we have this like weird view of jail, like, oh my God, like I'm gonna get fucked in my ass or something. Like maybe, you know what I mean? I don't really know. I hope not. I would assume I'd go to one of the cooler jails where like it was a little less gay or it was a little less, suspect. I would hope God help me out on that one. But to that point, it's like, could you be happy even if you went to jail for something that was really out of character for you, and then you're there for a really long time? Like, imagine if I was there for like 10 years. I was like thinking about, I'm like, what would I do? Yeah, I'd probably just fucking write a book. You know what I mean? I'd probably just sit there and just like write things and like learn some more. I would try to get as many books as possible, like work out in the yard, like make some friends. I'm sure it'd be a little fucked up, but I think I could have a happy existence there. Genuinely. Like I really, like, yeah, I understand no more social media, whatever, but that's what I was thinking about too, is like, just like the whole concept of validation. It's something that I've like started to learn to really let go of. And it's hard, right? I'm on social media. So, you're always like, oh, I want to grow, or I want more followers or some shit. And then sometimes I just take a step back from all of it and I'm just like, what does it really matter? What is it for? Again, if I have 1 million followers, 2 million, 200,000, like, yes, I want to grow, right? Because maybe I want a deeper impact. Sure, that makes me feel good, right? Is like my words, my work being shown to more people, I think is awesome, right? It's like a chance for my self-expression to be shown to more people. I think we'd all appreciate that. But in the grand scheme of life, right? Me having that much more appreciation, does it change my happiness? And that's the thing. It's like, in general, like, yes, again, it's like, I guess that would feel good because if validation always feels good. That's the thing about conditional self-love, or if you're somebody that only feels good when you get the results that you want, because that's majority of people, right? Oh, we perform and we do well and we get the trophy. Yeah, we feel like the shit. And then what happens, right? You try at something, it doesn't work out, it doesn't go the way that you want. And what happens? Guilt, shame. Oh, I suck. Life sucks. This is stupid. You see what I'm saying? It's like most people, you're thrown around by the results of life versus, I think, being able to go with the flow of life, right? Being able to just like kind of, I don't know, validate yourself and validate your own experience and understand that and we were talking about this last week, right? The experience that you're having is all you have. Again, whether or not you have 1 million kajillion followers or not, whether I'm in jail or whether I'm sitting in this room talking to you right now on this podcast. You see what I'm saying? And so I guess that's what I've cultivated for myself is like maybe just this deeper understanding, deeper love for myself. Like I would say I'm close to unconditional love in some sense. I definitely not all the way there, right? Unconditional self-love to me would look like, no matter what I did, I would always just trust myself. I would always just give myself love. I think I gave the example to one of my clients today because she is somebody that was like me, right? Insecure, performance-oriented, conditional self-love. Everything is about trying to make progress in life. And the whole idea of that is that most people are looking for security outside of themselves. Security in a relationship, security in money. If I make enough money, I'll finally feel safe and secure. If I get the relationship that I want, then I could calm down and I could relax and I'll be okay. Right? It's this idea that things outside of you are what's going to create that security. But what you end up doing is you center your whole life around getting those things. And when you don't have those things, you kind of feel like shit. Like my client can't take a nap and relax because she feels like she's not making progress on the things that she wants. And so essentially what you're doing all day long to yourself when you live like that, right? When you get mad at yourself for not getting up and doing something or whatever, right? You're pushing yourself so fucking hard. Your whole life is built on guilt. If you don't do something, then you suck. And that's how most people are parented and raised. And that's why you feel that way about yourself. And that's why that also gets passed on generation under us as well. Right? Essentially, what is essentially happening is your parents are teaching you survival. They're not teaching you how to live and exist and enjoy your life and to feel safe. They're teaching you that in order to be alive, you need to survive, right? You need to chase protection. You need to chase everything. And if you don't do it the way that they want to do it, slap on the wrist. Here's an example, right? So let's say you're a kid, right? And you come home. For me in particular, this happened a lot where like my mom would lead through guilt and she doesn't realize, right? She doesn't have the awareness. So that's why there's no bad energy to this, but it's still what happened, right? So I still need to learn from it. But I would come home. I wasn't doing that good in school. I would get bad grades. What do most parents do? Oh, what the fuck is wrong with you? What are you doing? Why are you not getting better grades? What happens? Punishment. Right? Guilt. Oh, you didn't do good? Punishment, shackles. You're dumb. You're stupid. Why did you do that? What's the reverse, right? How can we lead? If we had unconditional love in that situation, what would that look like? Hey, you got a bad grade on your exam? Like, yeah, that's not great. Like, do you want to get a better grade in the future? Right? What happened here? Why did this happen? I still love you, even though you didn't do that good on your test. Imagine if your fucking parents talk to you like that. Hey, you didn't do good on your test today. That's okay, right? Like, what can we do to work on getting better grades? What'd you learn from that situation? Do you see how you could still have love for yourself and still do the things that you want to do? And so people, they can't really understand that, because they've never really been shown that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's been more through guilt. It's been more through shame. Oh, I'm going to guilt you into doing what I want. So essentially what people are doing without even realizing it is you are treating yourself like a slave. I know it sounds crazy, but what you're doing is every single time you don't do everything like you expected yourself to do, you whip yourself. Whoosh. Stupid. Why'd you do that? Oh, you woke up late? Why the fuck are you like this? People talk to themselves like that, swear to God, right? What happens when you're playing something and you make a mistake in a game? Or what happens when you're texting somebody and you look back and you're like, fuck, like I was being so needy? Do you turn around and say to yourself, hey, you were just kind of needy in that moment. Just learn from it. You're good. You're all right. You're still lovable. Or do you turn around and you talk to yourself, how? Why the fuck did you do that? You're so needy. This is why no one likes you. It's because you're too much. It's because you're stupid. If you were just better in this situation, if you were just more confident in this situation, you would have fucking had the result that you wanted. Do you see the difference? And most people lead their lives literally, and I understand it because that was me, through complete force. Force. You're literally dragging yourself through life, right? Again, look at yourself like a little kid and look how you treat yourself as if you're your own parent. Do you force you to do a bunch of shit that you don't actually want to do? That's the crazier part. And the funny thing is the reason that you're forcing yourself to do the things is because you think that by doing the things that you'll finally be happy and peaceful. Like, think about my client, right? Oh, if I make more money or I get into a relationship, I'm going to feel secure. I'm going to feel happy. So what you do is you contort yourself and shame yourself and guilt yourself into trying to behave in a certain way to get to happiness, peace, and security. You got it all backwards. The relationship doesn't make you secure. You feel secure first, and the relationship comes as a byproduct. The same thing for money. And I understand with money, right? You could feel this really deep sense of scarcity and survival if you feel like you don't have enough. But I asked my client today, I was like, well, tell me why you're pushing yourself this hard. Well, she's like, well, I got to pay the bills. I'm like, okay. But you're telling me right now that you're not paying your bills? I mean, even for you sitting there right now, are you paying the bills? Are you getting by, right? And she's like, yeah, I am. I was like, oh, so you should feel secure then, right? Why don't you feel peaceful and happy? Oh, well, I need to keep growing. I need more. And I was like, this is the trap. This is the fallacy of putting your happiness in something external to you. And this is what's so funny, is that you never actually get it. You don't realize, but by guilting yourself into trying to get to happiness, what you're doing is imagine if like happiness was a stick and you're putting it on your back and then it's dangling a carrot right in front of you, and the carrot is happiness. And you're running around your whole life, forcing yourself to try to run to happiness and to security, which is the carrot that you never actually get to. I think about myself, right? You know, so this was, Chris used to live through force and insecurity and guilt for a long time. So what did he do? What did he say, right? When Chris was growing his TikTok, he was like, you know what? 100,000 followers, I'll be good. I'll be good. Yeah, I was like 250K. Wow, this is amazing. You know, I'll be fine. I was like, imagine 500K though. Holy shit. Like I'm set for life. I'm fucking good. And then I hit 500K. Then what? 750K. Oh my, this is crazy. You know what? I'm solid. Yo, honestly, here's my thing. If I get to 1 million, if I get to fucking 1 million, I'm good. I'm going to be grounded. I'm going to be so happy. It's going to be amazing. I hit 1 million. How did I feel? And we just talked about it, right? Conditional love says you reach your goal, you happy. So what was I? Initially, I take a picture. I'm feeling good. I'm happy in the moment. What happens though? You want more. Because it's never ending. Because guess what? Your happiness is conditional. It's conditional on you performing and doing more and getting more. Nothing is ever enough. Think about that. The only way you even got to that goal in the first place is because you already had the mentality that nothing was ever enough. So when do you think that you're going to stop? And most people think that, oh, well, if I just make this amount of money, then I'm going to feel secure and safe and I'm going to chill out. It's funny as fuck. My client was like, yeah, I'm working really hard so that there could come a time in life where I stop working as hard. I'm like, what? What? Isn't that the goal for everybody, right? Oh, well, I'm just going to work really hard right now and I'm going to make it. And then once I make it, then I'm going to chill out. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to just chill out once I get there. First off, no, you're not. Because you don't even know what it is. You don't even know what you're chasing. You don't. Really, what you are chasing, and this is what I'm trying to say, after a really long time of becoming more secure in myself, I realized that really what I wanted was peace. Really, what was the goal of making or getting 1 million followers? Yeah, well, let's just say it's security, right? If I am chasing security, what does that say about myself currently? How do I feel? Insecure. And that's what I'm trying to say about most people in life. If they're chasing security, if you are chasing security, that means currently the way that you view yourself is insecure. You don't feel stable. This is why you feel anxious all the time. This is why when somebody blows on you or something doesn't go the way that you want, you cannot handle it. Point blank, period. Somebody breaks up with you, destroyed. When long distance left me during that time in my life, right? My attachment issues up the wazoo, bro. I could not handle it. I couldn't handle it. I was destroyed. And it wasn't because I was so in love. I thought that way. I really did. But what it was is my fear became reality. Right? That I wasn't enough. That's what it is. It's a fear that where you are, how you experience what you're experiencing is not enough. That's some imagined future that you're going to get to that you're finally going to feel secure. And it was a fucking lie. That's what I'm saying. 1 million followers later, it doesn't matter. My insides were not taken care of, honestly. So, what did that leave me? You know, I had to realize that I had to find peace in myself. I had to find forgiveness for myself. I had to find just grace and acceptance and love, not out in the world, not in the TikTok, not in money, not in a girl, not in somebody's attention, but truly in just my experience and genuinely accepting it. And to me, that is such a big process. You guys, I don't think you guys understand. Every single day I wake up and I do about a half-hour meditation to start my day, almost every single day. And the entire meditation is focused on creating peace in my experience and letting go of external validation every single day. I have to work on that belief every single day. I have to trust myself and remind myself I am safe. I am safe to be myself. I am safe to express myself. Think about the little kid scenario we just brought up. I have to tell myself each day, hey, Chris, no matter what piece of content you put out that day, no matter if you fumbled your words to the cute girl that day, no matter if I didn't perform well, no matter if I didn't go to the gym that day, no matter what the fuck happened, I didn't eat healthy, I stayed up late, I smoked a cigarette, I stayed up way later than I wanted to. I have to wake up every single day and remind myself, that's not my value. That's not my worth. That's not what's going to make me happy. You know what I'm saying? For when you are so performance oriented and avoidant and insecure, your entire life becomes about external results. All of it. You think that it's not. I'm telling you, most people listening to this right now, I can guarantee you 90% of you, 1,000%. Wow, that's, what is that? 90% of you, 1,000%. I can guarantee you were thrown around by the external results of your life. You're thrown around by your own expectations of yourself. If you don't meet the expectations of yourself in your head, you feel like shit because you feel like you're not moving towards this goal that you want, which the goal is probably security and happiness. Meanwhile, happiness, and that's what I'm saying, security is an inside job. It's actually you giving yourself the grace to be a human being. It's about giving yourself the grace and forgiveness when you don't do exactly what you expect. And here's the shift that you guys don't realize. Even if it's about performance, I want you to understand something. Living a life of deep contentment and joy and peace, right? The same principles apply to high performers, to performing under stressful conditions. It's the same thing. They're one-to-one. So if you want to have amazing performance and productivity, it's about being calm, being peaceful, right? Being in flow, being in the present. And it's the same thing with living a life that is also joyous. Think about the thing that you are most confident in your life. My client gave me this example. I asked her, I said, okay, hey, what are you really confident in? Right? She was like, I think the gym. I was like, okay, cool. Like, tell me about that experience. She's just like, I don't know. I was like, is it stressful? I said, are you feeling anxious during that time? Are you overthinking? She's like, no. She's like, it's weird. It's like, I am putting in effort, but I'm also enjoying it. So it kind of feels right. And I was like, that's it. That's it. You got it. That's the key to life. I was like, what if your whole life looked like that? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, you could still put in effort without guilt and shame and pressure, right? You just got to you just got to do things that you enjoy doing. That's the key. Because you will put in effort towards the things that you enjoy doing. What most people don't recognize is when they say, oh, I'm stuck, or I'm lacking motivation, or I don't you know what I'm saying? I can't do anything. I'm feeling stuck, blah, blah, blah. What you don't realize is that you're probably doing something that you don't actually want to do, and you feel guilty for not doing it. But the truth is that underneath, you don't like doing it. But the problem is you're so attached to the outcomes or security. It's like a job, right? When you're working a job that you don't fucking like, more than likely you're doing it because you feel like you need a job to be secure. Where the mindset reverse needs to be, no, if I'm secure in myself, I do things that I enjoy and money comes as a byproduct. But it's very different. It's very difficult to get yourself out of that thinking. That's why they say the poor stay poor and the rich get rich. Because when you're poor, you just have a poor mindset. You can't think outside of survival. All you're thinking about is getting like a small check. You don't think to yourself, oh, wow, I can do something that I enjoy and still make money? Yes, you could. Absolutely, you could. But let me not get off the point of validation here. Because to me, it's a practice, right? It's a practice to let go of those expectations that you have. It's a practice to let go of guilting yourself into doing the things that you want to do. So what you need to do is you need to understand, okay, what are those little moments in my day that I'm snapping at myself and getting mad at myself? Right? Maybe, again, you didn't do something that you wanted to do. I'm trying to think about myself too. That's what I'm trying to say. When my editor is like, hey, bring in some drama. I'm like, I don't got no drama. I wake up late, right? So today I woke up like, I don't know, 9 o'clock, which is like late. I wanted to get a head start because I had to put out the Substack and I had a call at 10. So I wanted to work on it before. But what happened? My friend hit me up last night. I stayed up late. I fucking smoked a cigarette with her last night. Ended up staying up till like 12:30, 1 o'clock. Didn't go to sleep. So then what happens, right? You wake up in the morning. Old Chris would be like, whoa, fucking whatever. What happens? Bad mood, bad energy. You carry that all throughout the day with you. Today, no. Wake up. I'm like, all right, 30-minute meditation. See, it helps clear and center me, right? Because I can maybe have that residue of guilt. And I just sit there and I'm in stillness and I'm like, don't let thinking get in the way of your being right now. Just be, just exist in this moment right now. There's no force. You don't need to push yourself. Just let go. Let go of all those external expectations. They're not real. That's survival. It has nothing to do with your happiness. Get to peace. Live in peace. Get to that place first. What I realized when I slow myself down, I'm like, what is all the urgency for in the first place? Yeah, the Substack might come out an extra 2-3 hours later. Does it fucking matter? In the grand scheme of life, does it fucking matter? How many little decisions in your fucking day that you're sitting there anxiously overthinking because you think for some reason that it's going to affect your entire fucking life? It's usually this sense of survival. So number one, you sit there and you procrastinate all fucking day, anxious as fuck, in your goddamn head, thinking about everything that you need to do, barely getting shit done, just being busy doing a whole bunch of nothing because you can't center yourself. Think about when you are confident doing something. You're still productive, and guess what? You're at a healthy pace. You actually get more done that way, right? Me being centered and centering myself to start my day creates more productivity in my day Because instead of anxiously overthinking and guilting myself all day long and then feeling like shit and then performing like shit and then feeling like shit because my performance is like shit, I let go of all of that. I realize my life is not a performance. It's just an existence. That's all it is. And again, it's not that I can't do things that I love, but that's the thing is I do them because I love them. That's it. It's just, that's what I'm saying. My whole life and day is like doing something, you could call it productive, that I enjoy. So it doesn't feel like work. I'm not cracking the whip on myself to get down here and do this podcast. You know, I told myself, walk downstairs and do the podcast. But it's all chill mode. You know what I'm saying? It's all good vibes mode. But you really got to get out of the comparison of your experience to some alternate experience that you have in your head that you think is just going to be so much better. That's what I'm trying to say. That is an illusion. That is complete horseshit. Security is really trusting that your experience that you're having is safe. Most people don't believe that. They don't think so. They think, oh my God, I got to do more. And I got to do everything in excess and guilt and shame myself and force. Just not true. Center yourself, one thing at a time, be in the present, do things that you enjoy, and let life happen as a byproduct of that. You don't have as much control as you think that you do. And you're trying to control things that don't actually bring you happiness. Somebody else's expectations of you, you controlling that doesn't affect your happiness. Yes, you might get the payoff of maybe one or two times if somebody liking you, but then they're liking you for a false version of you. And now you got to upkeep the false version to get the happiness. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, for instance, hypothetically, right? Let's bring a dating situation to this. How many fucking times will you, right? Let's say you're dating somebody new and, you know, they're kind of being a little dismissive. So what do? Oh, I'm going to match that energy, right? You contort yourself, right? You know you don't want to not talk. You like talking. You like kind of daily check-ins and communication. That feels good to you. But you could tell that energetically, they're not showing you that much love. So what do? You match the energy, right? Match, hey-o. And so what you do is you match the energy, you stop answering, you stop talking, and then a day or two goes by, nothing. You're feeling a little anxious, right? Because you're like, damn, they haven't reached out to me. Do they like me? Do they care about me? Ugh. Then what happens? Bink, text. Hey, what's up? What are you doing? Oh, got him. Yes. I feel great. Right? Because you got the result you wanted. You contorted yourself. You got the result you wanted. Great fucking job. Holy shit. Fuck yeah. All right. Now what happens? This is like Chris hitting the million, right? Same vibe. Contort. You talk for a little bit. You feel good. Dopamine. Fuck yeah. Maybe you guys make some loose plans. I don't fucking know. Then they kind of drift away again. You're like, oof. Why'd they stop answering me? God damn it. Maybe I was a little too much. Maybe I started to get comfortable in the conversation and started texting them too much. And now they stopped answering me. All right. You know what I'm going to do? Let's go back to contorting. Contort. All right. I'm not going to answer you now because you didn't answer me. I'm not going to answer you now for like a day. That's going to show them. Then they text you. Where are you? What's going on? Got them. Yeah, we're happy again. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Happy again. Love it. We did it again, baby. Come on. We played the game, got him on the hook again. Take a step back, sweetheart, for 2 minutes. What is your truth? Are you really peaceful and happy? Or are you just contorting yourself just to keep the connection alive? Just to survive? And you think you're getting the payoff because you're getting them to reach out to you, right? Oh, well, they texted me. So we're good now, baby. Locked in. But is it really locked in? How do you feel 2 days later when they stop fucking answering you again? Anxious, overthinking. I don't get it. Why do I feel like this? Cycle. Boom, 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 boom. External validation, feel like shit, anxiousness, contort ourselves, get the result that we want, external validation, feel good. It falls off, right? Anxious, feel like shit, contort ourselves some more, pays off, gets the result that we want, feels good for the moment. That's what I was telling my client. When you live through force like that, conditional love, where you only love yourself or feel good when you get the results that you want, your life looks like that. It's up and down, up and down, up and down, highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. If you ever complained that the partner that you're dating is hot and cold, that means you are accepting of hot and cold. That means that you are chasing the ups and being okay or allowing yourself to feel like anxious and shit in the downs. And like I said at the beginning of this podcast, you're choosing it. You're choosing it. You think it's them. Oh, well, they just only text me every 2-3 days. Babe, you're not being honest that you want a relationship where you talk every day because you have no self-trust. Because you're like, but Chris, but if I text him every day, he's gonna think I'm annoying. He's not gonna like me. Why do you want to date somebody that doesn't want to talk to you the way that you want to talk to them? What are we doing? And then, well, if I contort myself, I can get him to act the way to kind of give me some attention. All right, keep playing that game. Just go ahead, live in survival your whole life. See how that feels. You know how it feels. Trust me. If you're listening to this shit, if you have anxiety more than 3 times a week, oh boy. If you don't realize that your life, you are probably living in survival constantly. If you are getting triggered that much, you are insecure. Point blank, period. It's what it is. And it's not to guilt you. Oh my God, because that's the problem, right? Because then you feel embarrassed. You feel embarrassed to be who you are. So I don't want to do that either. But I'm calling it out so that you recognize that and you start to find a way. Because again, here's the thing, right? Let's say you weren't so geared in and tapped into external validation. You had some self-trust. If you knew that you wanted to talk every day, somebody that is going hot and cold on you, you would tell them that. You say, hey, like, I appreciate more consistent communication. That's what I like. And then if they turn around, they're like, oh, well, I can't really do that. Or they show you over and over and over that they can't do it. You move on. But the problem is if you are so scared of being abandoned and you are so scared of them giving you your security, right? This imagined idea that them in your life, you're for some reason happy, you don't ever fucking leave. And then you live with a constant cycle. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Get their attention, feel good. Then I don't. And then I feel like shit, anxious. I don't get it. Why are they doing this to me? I love it. I love if you're like, they're making me feel anxious. No, babe, you feel anxious. You feel anxious because you're choosing a situation that is just striking on your fear and you're not willing to overcome your fear. And you know what it is? Again, you just learn to be like that. It's familiar, right? So most avoidant and anxious people, most insecure individuals, and again, I'm speaking from the crowd, right? Like that is Chris. That was Chris. Swear on my life, insecure as a motherfucker. The hard part is you're attracted to that hot and cold energy because you're used to conditional love. Think about your parents, right? If you were a kid that around your parents or that dynamic of survival where like you had to essentially fend for yourself, or you were so scared of ticking that person off or ticking off your parents or doing the right thing or performing, You're used to living in that flow, that up, down flow, up, down flow. Sometimes it was safe. Sometimes it was not. It's familiar to you. It's not really love. I know, honey. I know it's hard to believe this, but the feelings that you're having are not love. It's the familiar survival that you're used to. It's attachment. So in order to break away from that, it's not necessarily easy. Like I said, it takes a lot of work to let go of that external and thinking that the external is going to be what grounds you. You ground you. The external doesn't ground you. That's what I'm saying. More money for me doesn't ground me. More followers for me doesn't ground me. A video doing super well, that's what I'm saying. Does that feel good? External validation? Yay. But if I had to do it by contorting myself, by forcing myself, there's no point. Because that doesn't feel good either. Because then I feel like a fucking imposter. Because it's not really me. I'm getting views or I'm getting money doing something that I know that I don't enjoy doing. That's not sustainable. It's the same thing with the relationship that I'm telling you guys right now about, like the hot and cold texting, the matching energy bullshit. You're changing yourself for an outcome. How sustainable is that, right? Let's say you're dating the guy that's inconsistent or the person that's inconsistent, and you know you like consistency. How long can you put the act on of being okay with inconsistency? What happens? You put the act on, you put the act on, you put the act on, right? You sometimes get their attention, sometimes get their attention, sometimes get their attention, right? You're feeling hot and cold, happy. But eventually what happens? Eventually you're going to crack. Eventually you can't keep putting the mask on. At some point or another, you're going to be like, I want something deeper. I do. I know it in my heart that I do. And then what happens? That person goes away. Your fear becomes reality. The entire time you didn't realize, but like, if you just stepped into your reality and stepped into your truth from the jump, yes, you would have had to navigate some uncomfortable realizations, but ultimately you would free yourself. And you'd be able to maybe find somebody that's more in alignment with you. That's what I said. Same thing with your job right now. If you're feeling that way in your job, I'll be honest with you, like, fucking quit. Honestly, quit. Just quit. Do it. Pull the trigger. You're in a relationship like that. Be honest about what you want. Just say it. Own it. Today, right now, send the text. Just do it. So, yeah, I guess long story short, no real drama in my life because I'm very honest with every single like woman in my life right now. I'm very honest with like my videos right now. And so I would say the drama for me, or the moments that I don't feel good, they come from feeling or comparing myself to other people, right? I look at the world and then I see, you know, some other people getting more impact or validation than I do. But what do? I tell myself or remind myself, is more external validation going to truly make me happy? And then I ask myself the question, if I was good with my experience as it was, then what? And I try to feel that level of validation in my body, not just in my head. I literally try to sit there and remind myself, bro, I am safe. I'm good. A video doesn't do well? Chris, that's not your value, bro. That's a fucked up concept you got in your head that if you do well in the world or you make more money or you get more followers that you're inherently safer. That's not true. You're safe because you remind yourself that you're safe. You're safe because you're alive. You're safe from a place of love. You could create security and beautiful relationships and money and impact from love. You don't need to do it from fear. A video didn't do well, just learn from it. It's not your value. relationship. Same thing with you guys, right? It's like something doesn't go right in your relationship. Don't guilt yourself over it. Don't shame yourself over it. Learn from it. Validate yourself. Feel that validation in your body. Recognize that the one person that you're dating on planet Earth that you met randomly in this giant world of 8 billion fucking people is not the reason that you are alive. You see what I'm saying? There's a million, gajillion, billion other people on the planet. Just because Susan doesn't like you back doesn't mean you're unsafe. Do you see what I'm saying? We don't realize how catastrophic we're making it, and it's because we feel like, again, it's this element of survival. It really is. All right, where are we at? Oh my God, I was ranting for way too long. Okay, let's do some of the fucking prompts before I go too crazy right now. All right. And so this one I picked on purpose. So I asked you guys what you're struggling with in dating. And you said rejection, oversensitivity. So this goes right in alignment with everything we're talking about right now. And so I feel this too, right? I mean, I could feel this the other day. I was shooting a video, and actually twice this week, I fumbled when it came to picking up a girl in public. 2 girls that I thought were really pretty. First one, I walked up to in a coffee shop, bad timing. I walk her outside. I posted an Instagram video about that. And I was fumbling my words. She's like walking away from me. And I was like, I'm sorry if that was weird. She was like, it's okay. And she just like walked away. And I was like, oof. Now, that's what I'm trying to say. What happens? Old Chris. What does old Chris do with that moment? Rumination. All day long, I'll go home. I'll be like, damn, you look like such a fucking idiot to that girl. Like, you had your shot. Like, why'd you do that? You shouldn't have even have said anything. Then you start blaming your own vulnerability. That's when it gets really bad, right? You're like, God damn it. Like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I kind of did it a little bit with the girl that ghosted, right? A couple podcasts ago, I realized, like, I had to learn from that. I had to realize that I was getting triggered by something that in reality, like, it wasn't that deep. It really was not. But I was oversensitive to it because of my own feelings of feeling like I wasn't enough, or self-doubt, or lack. So now, you know, when something like that happens, so for instance, I did it again. I think I went to some like fucking little dating app event. There was this girl I walked up to, and there was a couple. I talked to a couple. I was like in flow. I'd already talked to a couple girls at the thing. And I started talking to her. I was like, oh, you guys single? She's like, nah. She's like, no. And I was like, why'd you hesitate? I was like, what? I was like, what was that? I was like, are you in a relationship or are you not? And she's like, yeah, I am. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, oh, whatever. And she's like, oh, and like, I don't know what happened in the conversation. I sometimes just get a little bit like, I realize that I get very excited when I'm talking to like a girl that I really like or I think is really hot. So sometimes without even realizing it, I get anxious. I lose my sense of groundedness in those moments, something that I'm working on. And so I'm razzle dazzling to these 2 girls that are in front of me. And she's like, makes this like comment because I think she got a little defensive at one point because I guess she was like, oh, so is that my only value? Oh, because now I'm not single. Like, you don't care? I was like, no, that's not what I was fucking saying. And I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. Like, I did not mean to say that. I started fumbling my words because she like kind of like put me on the spot. And I was like, what's your name? She's like not giving me her hand to shake. I was like, oof, this is fucking, I was like, this is fumbling. And I have it on fucking video. I'm videotaping it. So I'm feeling hella weird. I can't even imagine what was happening if I was live streaming that. But yeah, like after those moments, it's this feeling of like, oh fuck, like I really fucked up. Like that girl's gonna go home. I did it in front of her friend. Like, what if they go and they talk about me and they're like, wow, that guy was so fucking weird. Like, I can't believe he did that. Like, look at him, like whatever. And I don't know. Again, it goes back to the guilting thing. It's this idea that if I didn't perform exactly the way that I envision in my mind, because what way do we envision ourselves, all of us? We're confident, we're witty, we're funny, we're so deep, we're so everything. So every single moment that we don't show up with any sort of confidence, we feel like shit, right? And we get down on ourselves so hard about it, not realizing, like, bro, I'm confidence Chris, but I'm motherfucking human, dog. And you got to check yourself and remind yourself of that. That's what I'm saying. This is where the unconditional self-love comes in, where like, it genuinely, this takes like intentional awareness and work. After that event, I have to consciously remind myself, Chris, it doesn't matter. Oh, you weren't funny in that moment. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. It's one fucking girl. It's two girls. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Yes, they were both hot, but guess what? I turn around and I remind myself, just learn from it. I know how I want to show up. And what I reminded myself was this. I was like, the fact that I'm going up to girls and shooting my shot and, you know, putting myself in front of girls that I find really attractive is very important. Because at the end of the day, I know that I want to find somebody that I'm really attracted to. And the only way that I'm going to receive that kind of girl is if I have the balls to walk up to them and say something. And I don't get that way. I don't build that security. I don't build that groundedness without these moments. I don't. Because that's what happens, right? With rejection oversensitivity. What you're essentially saying is that you don't trust yourself to be yourself. That's it. Because what you're saying is every single time that you show up with vulnerability or that you're yourself, you're so scared of the result. Because you're doing it for the result. You're not doing it because you're honoring yourself. So you have to change the way that you're showing up to these situations, right? You should want to be rejected. Actually, the only way to get over rejection sensitivity is to expose yourself. But here's the thing, right? So I know for a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to do that. But you got to change the narrative of what you're doing. Because right now you're still living for the result. Because you think that the result is what's going to make you happy. You think, oh, well, if somebody just, you know, receives my vulnerability well, that's all that matters. But that's not the truth. Because that's only one moment. You're going to have to keep doing it over and over and over and over. What happens if they reject you in the next moment, right? How many times do you like send something really confident in like a text thread with like a, you know, a significant other or a person, right? And you're like feeling good. You're on a little hot streak that day. Then you take them on a date. And then on the date, for some reason, you get a little anxious, right? Something happens. You get a little anxious. You feel a little bit weird. The date kind of goes okay. It doesn't go like amazing. And then what happens? Because you're so scared of that rejection, you then fumble even more. You then hide yourself even more. That one moment that you got the W, if you're still so scared of being yourself, it's going to come out at some point, right? So when you have rejection oversensitivity, what you're telling me is that you just feel a little insecure about yourself. And so again, even if you get a positive result, the only problem with that is you're not always going to get a positive result. That's the problem. So if you're only doing something for a positive result, ultimately, you're going to close yourself down to trying and to expanding yourself. And it's not always, like I said, you being yourself is not always going to get a positive result. But the truth of the matter is this, actually, if you want better results, you got to be able to show up with vulnerability as much as possible. So what I would tell you to rejection oversensitivity is, number one, you're going to have to face your fear. That's just facts, right? At some point, you're going to have to do it when you are scared. That's what it is. But change the stakes. You're putting the stakes too high, because what you're essentially saying is that my value is reliant on the result versus my value is reliant on me speaking my truth. Those are two different things. Because if you make your value on honoring yourself, then it takes the pressure off the result. And guess what? You get better results. Think about the people that you gravitate towards. I mean, think about Chris in those situations with the two girls, right? Do you think that I would have had a better result if I was grounded and I was true to myself? Potentially, right? But how do I become grounded and true to myself? I have to practice that. I have to practice being grounded. I have to practice being true to myself. So if you don't allow yourself to get rejected because you're so concerned about the result, you're losing out on repetitions of being yourself. And so ultimately you don't really make progress, and ultimately you don't become more confident. In order to become more self-confident, you're going to have to take a fucking risk. Point blank, period. The oversensitivity is the amount of insecurity that you have in your own experience. It's the belief that you as you are is not enough as compared to the way that somebody else views you or sees you. And so that's why you can't really be yourself. So you're kind of stuck in a hole when you're like that. And that's what I'm saying. That was really the client that I've been talking about today. That's her as well too, right? Where like, if she posts a picture and it doesn't do well, she might take it down. So did you post that picture because you loved it? Or did you post that picture to get people to care? Because that's what happens, right? If people care, you feel good and you keep posting that. But like I said, what ends up happening? You never actually practice being yourself. And this is why you feel so anxious, because everything is about making sure that everybody else around you cares about you versus you caring about yourself. You've lost the plot, as I like to say. All right. Oh, well, which one do I want to do? Oh, they're both good. This one's good because it's about comparison. I don't know if it's good, but I'm just going to read it. Letting go and comparing myself to the new girlfriend. Okay, so you're struggling with letting go of a person and comparing yourself to the new girlfriend. So here's the thing, right? I feel like, and again, this is coming from a place of insecurity. You don't view yourself as enough. Your value is coming from somebody else choosing you. And so that puts you in a very precarious position. Because you have no self-trust, essentially all you're going to do all day long is imagine the life that you should be living, because you feel like the life that you're living and who you are as you are right now is not enough. And because of that, you end up playing a game and you're doing everything for the result, kind of like we just been kind of talking about. And this is why people probably let you go in the first place. Because that's what I'm trying to say. You being unable to let go means that for some reason inside, you feel that you need the relationship in order to feel good. But the problem is, if you need the relationship in order to feel good, ultimately you're going to people please. And because you're people pleasing, the other person feels it. It doesn't feel good. And this is why they don't value you. They don't value you because you don't value yourself. And you want to know how I know you don't value yourself? Because if you valued yourself, you'd let go of the fantasy that this person being in your life would mean that you are enough. I know that's like kind of a complex equation. But do you see what I'm saying? Really, the problem inside of this is not the fact that you can't let yourself, or you can't let go, or that you're comparing yourself to the new person. Why would anybody compare themselves in the first place? That's what I'm trying to say, right? So even for me, remember I told you guys, what's the only drama that I maybe have felt a little bit this week? It's when I go on social media, I look at other people's pages, and I feel for some reason they're getting more attention than me. Essentially, what I am saying out loud is that trigger is stemming from some sort of inner belief about myself that who I am, as I am, posting as I am, sharing as I am, is not enough. And what I'm saying is essentially my value of myself comes from the validation that I might receive. And so that's what you're saying. The reason that you're comparing yourself to the new girlfriend is because you've created some sort of rule that because he is not dating you, that you are less than or you are not worthy. But if you were truly worthy in yourself in the first place, if something wasn't in alignment for you or wasn't choosing you, you would let it go, right? That's what you would say for me, right? You'd say, hey, Chris, your value's not people watching your videos. Like, you're for the people that are for you. You're for yourself, honestly. That's really what it comes down to, right? If you loved yourself as you were, it wouldn't matter if somebody was standing there clapping for me. I would just be good with who I am. Again, this is a practice though, but the practice is feeling worthy, feeling enough for yourself. Like I said, truly feeling in your body that you are safe and that you are enough. Now that is the challenge. Now that to me is like, the work. You want to talk about the work? It's literally that in a nutshell. Is feeling enough and feeling safe to be yourself and in your own awareness and in your own experience. Because what is happening outside of you is just mirroring the feelings that you're having about yourself. Because this girl doesn't feel worthy and enough as she is, she's comparing herself to new girl and feeling like if she was in this relationship with this guy, that she would somehow be happier, that her experience would be better. But the problem is you put your security outside of yourself. You put your security in the relationship versus being secure in yourself first and having the relationship be an extension of your own inner security, right? Because if you had your own inner security, if somebody doesn't choose you, then what? It's just not for you. And what you would do is you just got to remind yourself in these moments of comparison, slow down, get in your body, remind yourself that you're safe, remind yourself that you're enough, remind yourself that your experience is good enough as it is, that you're safe as you are. But again, if we don't typically feel safe as we are because we were trained as kids in survival and we picked up these beliefs that we were not enough inherently because maybe we didn't get enough attention or we were neglected or people shitted on us, it's very hard to believe that way about yourself. So this problem, I guarantee you, for you, this isn't the first time that you've compared yourself to an ex. This isn't the first time that you felt super sad and super attached when somebody broke up with you. I can guarantee you probably felt like that with all the other past boyfriends. I can guarantee you. My question to you is this: when did your anxiety start? When did your fear start? You're telling me it started only from this relationship? I can guarantee you that is not true. I can guarantee you've been feeling this way about other people and relationships your whole life. I can guarantee you probably have a fear of abandonment. I can guarantee you that underneath you don't feel like enough. I can guarantee it. Boom, stamp. Guaranteed. I know it because I do this. That's what I'm really telling you. All right. Last one. I'll do it quick. Come on. We got a little extra time. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. That's it. That's all you're going to get. Always encountering avoidant people. All right. Remember how we talked about how everybody's a mirror? So if we're always encountering avoidant people, what does that mean? All right. So we're attracting people that typically maybe run away or keep us at a distance, or when they get close to you, maybe they kind of pull back, right? They pull back that energy. Now, here's the thing. Can you sometimes just find avoidant people in the dating pool? Yes, there's a lot of avoidant people in the dating pool because most people that are single are avoidant. The reason that they're single is because they like to be independent, not like to, it's familiar to them and they have a fear of commitment. So there's a lot of avoidance in the dating pool. But the truth of the matter is this, right? It's like, if you find yourself in those relationships over and over and over, to me, there's a pattern. And to me, there's a pattern of belief and thinking. And so more than likely, you are also very insecure yourself. And so what happens is you maybe are just attracted to people that kind of give you half energy, which makes sense. We talked about this, earlier about the kids in survival, right? When we have a parent that loves us sometimes and half the other time is guilting the fuck out of us, punishing us, right? Or being distant from us, we are used to the person that doesn't give us their full energy, right? What happens when somebody dates you and is just like, I like you. And actually, I don't just like you. I like you even for your flaws. Hey, you didn't text me back for 6 hours? That's okay. How do you feel about those people? Ick. Boring. Unconditional love? Yuck. Disgusting. Leave me with that non-masculine, non-dismissive bullshit. All right? That shit's boring. You know what I need? I need the person that is like a slot machine. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, because I'm used to that. And I can guarantee you probably have a little bit of anxiousness. And I told you guys, anxious people are also avoidant. You are both. What you are is you're insecurely attached, right? So I can guarantee you the reason that you're attracting that is because you yourself are also insecure and a little bit avoidant. You might lean more anxious, right? Because that's what I see a lot of the time too. So, I have an avoidant woman that I'm working with, right? And she was like, Chris, why do I keep attracting broken men? I keep attracting these guys that show up and love bomb me, right? They do the most for me. Well, here's the funny thing about my client. My client's avoidant, right? She's a woman that's avoidant. She loves men attention, but she doesn't ever give them her full attention, right? So who does she attract? If you're an avoidant person, right? And I am too. Who do I attract? I told you guys all the time. The anxious. Why do avoidant people attract anxious people? It's because when you're an avoidant, right, you're giving that half energy, right? The anxious person loves that, right? Because you're not giving them your full self, the anxious person wants to run closer, right? They want to cling. Oh, you're kind of giving me half energy. This feels nice. That's you, right? You asking the question when you meet these guys that kind of like, and again, their attachment issues are very early on. My client, for instance, right? Again, the avoidant girl, she meets these guys, she talks to them, but she's like, maybe I want commitment, but maybe I don't. But I'm just like the fun girl that like hangs out and just like wants to chill and like whatever. So what happens to a person that is insecure and wants your validation? They're going to do the fucking most, right? She meets these guys that are like doing the most for her, but then she's getting the ick. My client's getting the ick. She's like, Chris, why do I keep attracting these broken men? It's because you're not giving your full vulnerability. And because you're not giving your full vulnerability, guess what? These insecure people are attracted to you. And that's why I'm trying to say for you asking this question, you're like a gnat flying to a light. You know what I mean? You're like a bug, a mosquito flying to a light, right? You see those avoidant people and it feels good to your nervous system. Now, it doesn't necessarily feel good, but it feels familiar. Right? Again, what happens with the guy that's not avoidant? What happens if you meet another anxious guy? What happens if you meet a guy that's actually hitting you up, asking you to hang out, texting you every day, saying good morning? To an anxious girl, yuck. I might throw up. You see what I'm saying? So for you, right, in particular, you're probably going to have to be more firm in your boundaries. If you start to see dismissive energy, you're going to probably have to do a better job of speaking up on that. If you're matching energy, you need to cut that out today. Because what you need to do is be the energy, but it's hard for you to be the energy because you're scared of abandonment, right? Most anxious people, that's what it is. You're fearing abandonment. What happens when we fear abandonment? If we don't want the other person to leave, what do? Contortion. Oh, you don't want to text this much? Guess what? All right, let me go in the box. I don't know what's good with all the fucking noises today. I don't know what's happening. But you see what I'm saying? You shove yourself in a box to be picked up by avoidant guy. And then ultimately they don't respect you. They never actually date you. You always constantly feel like shit and continue to feel anxious. But because it's so familiar to you, like for instance, like it's like your parents making you play small because you made a mistake and now they're going to berate you about it. So what you do is you contort your little 8-year-old self. Doot, 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 doot. Oh, I can't tell mom I didn't do good because she's going to fucking yell at me. So what do? You hide your full self. You have learned and trained yourself to hide your true vulnerability for 20 plus years. That's why these insecure attachment issues are so crazy, because they're so deeply ingrained. That's why for me, every single morning, guess what? I have to do the meditate. I don't have to do it. It's something that I enjoy doing because it centers myself away from those insecure feelings and thoughts, those insecure feelings that I'm not safe if somebody doesn't choose me, these insecure feelings that if I don't do that good on my job that day, that somehow I'm gonna die. It's just a feeling that you've had since you were a kid when you were trying to bring a grade home that wasn't that good and you're about to get fucking yelled at. So you treat yourself the same way. Oh, you didn't do good today? Slap. So I have to train myself to give myself unconditional love and to honor myself. That's step 2. Step 1 is providing yourself unconditional self-love, which is, I would say the easiest step because it doesn't involve other people. Now, the problem is, again, it's attachment issues. So the issue now becomes, hey, or here's how I would say this all works. Number 1 is getting more in tune and in touch with your truth and your feelings. That's why I said step 1. Then providing unconditional self-love to your feelings, realizing that you're a human being and that you could make mistakes and that, you are who you are, right? Now, step 4 is being able to share that being, that imperfect being, with another human being. And what happens is other human beings and the world is going to try to shove you into a box. They're going to say, hey, that's not good. Or they're not going to text you back, or they're going to dismiss you. And you still have to be firm in yourself. That part is hard. The ending part is hard. Is still showing up and owning your truth, even when the world around you is telling you, fuck you. That shit's hard. But that to me is how I know somebody is truly secure. Because think about this. Ask yourself that question. What is security to you? When you meet a person that is secure, how would you describe them? Oh, well, somebody secure means that they trust in themselves. They own themselves despite what other people might think. That is what you're trying to create. Do you see what I'm saying? So what you're not realizing is if you're attracting insecurity, you are insecurity. If you feel very anxious, you are insecure. You're insecure about yourself. You don't trust yourself. All right, y'all. I love you guys. If you ever want to work with me, you know where to find me. I would love to help you build security. That's what this is all about. And guess what? It's fucking peaceful. It's so peaceful that you have to look around your life and say, where is the drama? I don't see it. Somebody show me the drama. I don't know where it's at. All right. Love you guys. See you soon.